Why is it that you immerse yourself in self-help books day and night, watch countless videos, yet you don't see any change in your life? You invest a lot of time, you deeply desire change, but you still don't feel like anything is happening. There could be two reasons for this. The first answer is very simple, and you already know it. You read, watch videos, talk about it, but you don't take any action. Self-development is the key to a successful, happy life. The problem is that people often confuse it with mere reading and entertainment. Self-development isn't just about learning new topics and techniques. Self-development is about watching, reading a few materials on a topic, and then starting to apply what you've learned. Most people make the mistake of using information gathering as a form of procrastination. Instead of, for example, approaching women somewhere, they watch 3 more videos on the topic of how to approach women. In theory, they know everything, but in reality, they haven't even gotten to the point where a woman can test them. These are the people who end up just pontificating on forums. The same applies to working out. They know everything about every protein, yet they only work out once a week at most. Instead of going out to practice on people, instead of hitting the gym more often or starting to work, they'd rather read 2 more books on the subject. The most common scenario is that they read book after book on how to stay motivated instead of sitting down and doing what they need to do. They explain their lack of success by saying it's due to a lack of knowledge. There's a good term for this. It's called a self-help junkie. In a way, they're addicted. They're hooked on gathering information, but rarely able to act on it. Since they don't achieve the successes that the books promise, they just end up reading more books. This is the perfect way to procrastinate. In reality, it's often a disguise, a perfect disguise to avoid ever facing challenges head-on. For example, it's easier to learn about dating than to overcome your own fears. It's not wrong to gather information from multiple sources. It's a very good habit. It makes it harder for others to mislead you, and your knowledge will be much deeper. However, you need to understand that without practice, you won't improve. You could read 50 books on how to become a great writer, but if you don't sit down and write, nothing will change. You can learn how to be successful in social situations, but if you're not willing to go out and try what you've learned, you won't get any better. It's the same as with the gym. Just reading about weights and supplements won't make you any stronger. Now be completely honest with yourself and think about how much you've done so far to improve your life. If you want to start a business, how much work have you put in already? If you want more money, how much time have you invested in your career, for instance? How much extra effort have you put in to increase your income? If you want to meet new people, how many have you approached in the past week, month, or year? Ask yourself honestly, if you continue doing what you're doing for a year, would you achieve your goal? One thing is certain. If you work at something every day, over time, your investment of time will pay off. There may be another reason why you haven't seen any change in your life. It's simply a lack of time, or rather, your impatience. Even if you've put in the necessary work to develop yourself, it still takes time to reap the rewards. It takes time for what you're learning to really sink in and become a part of your life. At the beginning, anything you do requires conscious effort. For example, if you set a goal to improve your communication and networking skills and therefore want to meet strangers, it will be very difficult at first. Every time you force yourself to approach someone, you'll get nervous. The way you speak will seem unnatural, not at all spontaneous. You may feel for weeks that you're not being yourself. You have to weather this phase. If you practice enough, and enough time passes, this too will become part of who you are. A few years down the line, your friends will think you were born this way. But maybe your goal is to become wealthier. You start reading about the topic: productivity, building a business, how to leverage your knowledge to advance your career. Even if you do everything to improve, it will still take time for you to see the results. Nobody becomes rich in a few weeks. Even if it often seems that way from the outside, there are years of hard work behind success. The most important thing is to be honest with yourself. If you know you've gathered enough information and you practice daily to get better, then all you need is time. You might not notice any changes in yourself. You might even receive negative feedback from certain people. You have to trust the learning process. You have to trust that your knowledge will eventually bear fruit. Keep gathering information, because this is how you'll get to the deeper levels of what you're learning. Real success often hinges on the small, almost invisible things. But remember, you should spend 80% of your time on practice. It's very important not to try to change everything at once, because that simply won't work. The best strategy is to choose what is most important to you and work only on that. Break it down into the smallest possible details and build from there. What's the recipe for success? Figure out what you need to improve the most. Acknowledge the area that will give you the biggest return in your life once improved. Once you've done that, focus only on this. Don't try to change everything. If possible, break the topic down into small elements. Practice each one until it becomes second nature. The most important thing is to realize that you need to take action. If you have any observations or experiences related to this topic, feel free to share them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It really helps us out. And if you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. We truly appreciate your support.